How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
We're doing good.
Enjoying the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Because you look different now than I've gotten used to see the band before. So could you tell who you are and what you do?
I'm Callum. I play bass. Yep, that's me.
And I'm Deke and I do the vocals.
So this is the first time I see you guys with the masks. So is there a certain reason for that?
Well, we could say it's just because we're really ugly or something like that, but it looks a bit different, and basically it makes people kind of concentrate more on what we're saying because they can't really look at who we are, and it's not, to be honest, we've always said it's not really important, the kind of personality thing, and if we've got a big Casey or, you know, hair like a Sealy or something like that.
It forces people to listen.
Yeah, it becomes not about your personality or your image or something. They don't. I mean, who cares really who the people are and that? It's the ideas that are important.
So because few times I've seen Oipolo in Finland, there's been always like different lineup. I heard that you are happy with this one, and is this gonna be a more steady one or?
Well, we're gonna record. We're gonna record some new stuff, but unfortunately, our man here is an English teacher, and he has some plans.
I have things to do, but while I'm around, I will keep playing. Yeah. It's good. It's good. What we have together is very good, and as long as I'm available to do it, we'll keep with this. Yeah.
Yeah. We will record something at Christmas time. Then he'll go to Brazil, maybe do some English teaching. But we want to go to South America at some point, so he can work on the contacts and stuff. We were going to go to Colombia. We have a friend who's been there for a long time. He was working as a not exactly bodyguard, but people who've been threatened by the right-wing paramilitaries. If a Western person comes and lives with them and works with them, that gives them a certain amount of protection, and that's what he's been doing. And we were talking with him about doing some kind of anti-militarism tour, but it's dangerous, so we have to think about it carefully. I mean, obviously we support this stuff, but on the other hand, we don't want to get killed, you know. So we have to wait and see how it turns out. But it would be good to go to South America. But we want to learn some Spanish first, so we can actually talk to the people. Yeah. Portuguese for Brazil.
Portuguese in Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, because now you know pretty much the Finnish language, so it was funny to see you speaking Finnish during a gig.
I think it's good to show a bit of respect for the people in the country that you play, to at least make the effort to learn some of the stuff. Especially if you come from America or Britain, where, okay, in America a lot of people speak Spanish, but so many people speak English as their first language, and there's this really, with the globalization in the form that it's taken at the moment, we're talking about cultural imperialism and how this Anglo-American culture is dominating the entire world. You've got people like McDonald's who are actually quite happy to say openly, we would love to see a world where you can go into a branch of McDonald's in every single country and you can get exactly the same stuff. Now, to these people that's their dream, to us that's a total nightmare. People who've been listening to our stuff for a while will know that we've always been concerned about environmental issues and so on. Like, for that reason we were talking about your plans for a new nuclear power station in Finland. It's an absolutely crazy idea. And to be honest, I mean, we were we're never surprised at the stuff the politicians get up to, but it's sad to see in a country that, I mean, we know what happened after Chernobyl. And the fact that Finnish people after that could still say, oh yes, let's build a new nuclear power station. Absolutely crazy. But we're talking about what's happening to the natural world, and the fact that at the moment there's a mass extinction of plant and animal species that eclipses even what happened at the time of the dinosaurs, whatever wiped them out, you know. But a lot of people seem to forget that at the same time there's another mass extinction going on, which is a mass extinction of cultures and languages. And just as biological diversity is important for the ecological health of the planet, we also believe that linguistic and cultural diversity is important for the health of humanity. We don't believe that one global human monoculture would be a good idea.
It's important that we don't enter this hell state that is generica, where everything is just one and the same that McDonald's wants to create, where everything is the same. I mean, it's good to communicate and recognise our similarities, but our differences are what give us our identity. And the mixture of differences is what existence is about, and the marriage of different things. Through variety, you get progression.
And it's also not true. I think some people who, especially in the punk scene, there's a kind of knee-jerk reaction. If you promote your own culture, people will say, oh, you must be racist, you must be xenophobic or nationalist. And it's two very different things. We would say that the real racist is the imperialist who wants everyone to be the same, you know. I mean, some of the policies that have taken place in Finland with regard to the Sami people, we would question, you know. We've been talking to some Sami people when we were here in Tampere. We met some Sami people, and they were telling us exactly the same kind of things that have happened in Scotland with regards to our own Celtic language. There's only now 1% of the population who speak that, and if that's lost, for us that would be a tragedy. That's something gone forever. And a
recent newspaper article in Scotland stated that there is no longer a Scottish people biologically. There is no race of Scottish people. So the English have actually they've succeeded to breed out the Scots. So what we have to do now is regain we have our own identity, and you must get it through culture if it's not through genetics. And by recognising our own cultural identity, as everyone must, that is the way to move forward. I mean, we just stagnate if we become the same.
I think that's a really important difference, because if you don't have a cultural difference, then people who are talking about a different national identity, the only thing that's left is the racial identity, and that's a very dangerous situation when you get into stuff like that.
Obviously, you guys have like a lot to say about things, and you fight against like a lot of shit. So what keeps you guys doing this? Because it's really frustrating to try to fight against like those powers behind everything.
They must be fought against. You know, we will keep going as long as these issues are still current. You know, I mean, we've been singing songs for many years, the same songs. People say, "Oh, why'd you play this song?" Well, because it still needs to be said. You know, when we have equality and justice for all people, we'll stop singing. You know, that's it. You know.
I think we might have a long time to wait.
Yeah.
But I mean, the things, you know, some people can say, if you talk about anarchism, that's what we are. We would class ourselves as anarchists. To some people, because of the dictionary definition they've had rammed down the throat in school, they believe that anarchy is chaos. You know, you'll have heard people talking on the news say, when there was the civil war going on in Bosnia, people would say, oh, there is anarchy in Bosnia. That's not anarchy, that's racism. Differences fostered by religion, that's authoritarianism and militarism running rampant. That's the exact opposite of anarchy. But obviously, we don't believe that maybe in the next few years we're likely to see some kind of anarchist utopia where everyone's living happily. But the important thing is that by putting it into practice in our daily lives, we can create and experience a hell of a lot of freedom ourselves, even with all the restrictions that the governments are bringing in on us. I mean, if you look at this festival, for instance, you've got people working together here. The idea of this festival isn't for some businessman to make a load of money out of it. People are coming and seeing music very, very cheaply. People are working here for free. There aren't any kind of huge macho security men punching people around. There isn't some deal where it's sponsored by a brewery and the thing is basically functioning as an advertisement for a multinational alcohol company. People are allowed to bring their own alcohol in. A lot of the stuff here is home brewed. Now, obviously people have got different ideas about the wisdom of drinking lots of alcohol or not, but if you're going to drink it, it's good that you brew it yourself. Well, depending on what you brew yourself. But yeah, I mean, I think you can...
This is proof that it can work. You know, the fact that we can all come together for a weekend and enjoy ourselves without any authoritarian security or anything. Everything is safe here. You know, this is why. I mean, okay, it's not going to happen in the next few years, but by doing this keeps it alive. And if you don't have the idea to do it, then you might as well just shoot yourself. You know, you have to keep the idea.
Every single event like this is proof that you can put these ideas into action. I mean, it's the same thing with something like the library service, for instance. People might not think of that as anarchism in action, but in a lot of ways it is. It's like property held in common, you know. Something like the blood transfusion service. People giving blood of their own free will to help other people. That is what anarchism is about. The idea that it's about people throwing bombs around. Who are the people who throw the bombs around? The governments and so on, you know. I mean, that seems like, I know you've heard all this before, you know, but for a lot of people, makes them think, you know.
I was wondering if there's like any things that you've been singing about, like fighting against, and you've seen things change. Can you name any? For better, I mean.
Well, a good example here. Would you like some vegan food?
Thank you.
Something like vegetarianism, veganism. When we first started going on tour to continental Europe in about 1988, when we asked for food that was vegetarian, we were vegetarians at the time. People thought we were crazy. They would look at us and say, well, look, we have to, especially the Germans, a lot of the political Germans who were fighting against the fascist movement in their country, involved in protecting their squats and so, they would say, we've got to think about fighting Nazis, protecting our squats. We don't have time to care about fluffy little bunnies. But personally, it's not an either-or situation. And that's something where now, when we go to continental Europe, we almost always get really, really good vegan food. Nowadays, you're not looked on as someone who's kind of crazy if you're veggie or vegan, which is definite progress. It's the same with a lot of green things. You're not looked at as crazy now if you eat organic food, this kind of thing. Same in Britain. The reality on the ground, despite the fact that it's still illegal, the reality on the ground is that the police are pretty much ignoring people who use cannabis. Things like that are changing, and with all the globalization protests recently, there's a lot more people coming to the realization that something is far wrong.
That are rooted in the punk movement, and now, like the examples that Deke gave there about organic food, you know, now with modern farming, you know, people know that mass-produced food is shit and it's bad for you, right? Regardless of whether an animal died, you know, it's fucking bad for you. So now all these ideas that have been circulating for years in the punk scene are becoming the mainstream, and people are waking up and realising, and these examples are the beginning, and it can only move forward from here. You know, I mean, things are constantly changing, they're constantly developing, and by having a direction and something to fight for, that's the only way to achieve your aims. You know, you have to keep moving.
Well, there's like a lot of things to talk about, but the time is limited. So
take up a whole day of your TV show, baby, easily.
Yeah, so maybe we should have a like Oi Polloi special day someday when you next time come to Finland.
That would be good for our record sales.
Yeah, I gotta ask, because you said that you are gonna record a new album. Is it gonna be an album? And if so, when is it gonna be out? Do you have any idea?
We have. The first thing we have is we have a new single that should be out in the autumn. And we were talking about the language issue before. It's all in Gaelic, which is our native Celtic language. So that will be out in the autumn. It's on a Polish label, friends in Poland, who are putting that out, and we're just at the moment working on the sleeve notes for that, but it's already recorded. Christmas time, we want to record a new single, and the plan is we're very much into the do-it-yourself ethic. You know, when we book tours and things, we try as much as possible to book them ourselves or through friends, this kind of thing, rather than working with contracts and all this kind of stuff. And we're trying to put the DIY thing into practice in as many areas of what we do as possible. So the latest thing we're trying to do is, rather than go into a commercial studio, is record it ourselves. And our guitarist, together with a friend, has just got hold of a pretty good quality Porta studio. And some of our friends' bands have been working with another Porta studio that they were using, and they got some pretty good recordings. So the plan is that we try using this for a single, and when it goes okay, we then record an LP. I mean, the LP will probably be a year away or something, but it'll be worth the wait.
We have songs that we're working on. We have new material that is ready.
We'll be waiting for that, and next time you come to Finland, you'll have a greasy hair like this, because you've promised me many times.
Well, the deal we made, as far as I remember, was that next time you folks come to the UK, you have to play in Scotland. Then I'll take off the balaclava and grease back the hair. And we will be brothers in arms. We'll look forward to it. It'll be good.
Okay, thanks a lot for your time, and have a good time on this festival.
Kitos Palion.
Kitos.